suwangilistuda bonke bayabuza bonke bayarapha kulolana nesikhundla abanye bazibuza sikule nkundla dala abangibona bebangazi ngisupa bethi for sure ngisane nokukhula imamthakatha ngisane nemkhuba volume lamathula ngeke ngisabusa
Super, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, and you actually are running a hectic schedule as I can see. Please tell me, I want to get back to the start of your career because I know that you are embarking on a wonderful campaign. But before we get there, I want to get back to the roots, all right? How did you get into music? What made you realize this is it? I need to be a performer.
I think it probably started when I was much younger. Brenda Fassie back in the 80s, and I was 5 in the early 90s. And I'd always be the one that plans all the concerts around the street. And when cousins were over, we all had to perform and I'd win. So that's when I thought, okay, I really love performing. But I think when I realized that I love hip hop specifically was in 1996. So I was a bit older and I heard of a genre that I did like. I did enjoy the beats, but there were no females that I actually heard during that period. So I thought, oh, it's nice music that guys do and then we can all enjoy. Until I heard of a lady called Foxy Brown in 1996, and I was 13 at that time. And that is when I was like, oh, this sounds cool. Oh, so I can do it as well. So I went to go and start writing and start performing. It's around school and we'd meet for ciphers and battles because it's all hip hop. But that's actually how it really started and the spark sort of grew in me.
You were saying that you thought only men do that kind of thing. How did your mindset change in the meantime? Since you've been able to step onto this type of career, how did you now step back and say, all right, guys, step aside, I'm here?
I think the benefit that I had is because, you know, when you love something so much, you don't look at, you know, everything else that's surrounded, so sexism or racism or whatever. You just go and do what you want to do. So I think when I started, I sort of was this awkward girl. I even remember my blazer, my school blazer was much bigger than everybody else's because Americans and hip hop is all about baggy jeans and baggy jackets. So I was this awkward girl with these big shoes. And so I didn't get to sort of feel like, oh, I'm the only girl, you know, but I looked up to the females that were rapping in America and the States. And then that's sort of, I didn't feel alone or I didn't feel special. And I think only when I realized, okay, there's no competition, which was maybe in the early 2000s, that's when I was like, okay, we need more females to partake because now everybody says, oh, you're my favorite female rapper. And I'm like, I don't want to be your favorite female rapper. I want to be your favorite rapper. So now you're like, okay, we need more in the industry. But I think for me, I never saw it as something that was negative. It did become negative in that opportunities are not the same as they would be for men. But other than that, there wasn't, from my side, no hindrance on that I was female.
Now, when you sit down to write a song, what inspires you?
So I think I pick up a lot of my inspiration from everyday life. So it depends really. Sometimes I'll be at a party and I'll feel something move me. Some days I'll be very depressed and sad, have a glass of wine. And then some days I'll sort of get a beat that I enjoy and I sort of want to just do something because that beat just inspires me to write something to it. So I can't say that there's like one specific way or even one specific topic I rap or sing about, but it's just really about the moments that I find myself in.
I've been following you on Instagram and I saw you record a little bit of a snippet and there was your little one. And it's like motherhood interfering. How do you put a pause on motherhood when you want to embark on a music career?
Oh, it's difficult. It's easier now that they can talk and you can reason with them. But 8 o'clock is the best time for me to start writing because that's when they go to bed. Because that's the time sort of I find for myself to just hoosa, and that's when I find inspiration. Some days are harder than others. But I think because it's a flexible industry as well, I get to be able to spend time with my kids. And because they can talk, I get to just say, guys, just please.
Now, you've been living in Centurion. How long ago did you actually decide to move to Centurion? And why did you choose this beautiful suburb of ours?
Well, I moved to Centurion. It was 2007. 6 or 7 years, because I worked for that insurance company that's by there, the big one. So when it started, so I moved to Centurion then. Before that, I was sort of studying in Arcadia and Sunnyside, because I was studying at Varsity College, where I met my husband as well. So I think the choice now of where to settle in Pretoria, Centurion was the obvious choice. But for me, Centurion sort of reminds me, it's like, it's not as busy as like Joburg, and I still like a feeling of a dorp, you know, like a little dorpy way, because I'm originally from Benoni. So
Okay.
Benoni is just still quiet. It's still, you know, not too much drama, but it's accessible to a lot of places, and you can still take the N12 that side. So for me, I like Centurion because I get to go to Joburg and live it up, and then I drive back home, and I wake up in the morning and birds are singing, and, you know, like dogs are barking. And then I like this simple life, but I also do have this other crazy part of me that likes to perform and be out in the public.
Well, I'm so glad you're saying that, because obviously we are the channel that want to support people that live in our neighborhood, and because we're part of a huge family here. Now, I want to get back to your music career. Now, before we talk about this competition that you have entered, I want to ask you something more specific about your music, because you have decided, or you actually made a conscious choice not to be signed with a record company. Why did you do that?
The reason being was mainly because I'm stubborn and I'm hard-headed, but I also, because of how long I've been in the industry, and now obviously there's more females that are, you know, coming up, and people sort of understand that we actually have a voice. And what I think I used to hate in the early 2000s was people always expected that because they see this replica in America that is a female rapper, then you must look, sound like them, you know? So because I'm signing you and I'm giving you all the access to everything, I will tell you how to rap, how to dress, how to behave. And I don't like that, because then I feel, for me, my music becomes not authentic, it's inauthentic. And at the same time, it's just, I'm not being true to myself. So I think the reason for me mainly was that I wanted to be, every song you hear is authentically me. And if it's not fully authentically me, it's because I was trying to open up and work with a producer that said, okay, listen, I need to sound more exciting, more fun, because obviously I'm a bit older than the new generation. So some things that I find annoying, they are actually cool. And I'm still stuck in my hip hop from 90s and, you know, early 2000s type thing. So that's the main reason why I didn't choose to get signed.
Also, I do believe the channels for distribution have changed in so many ways. Do you find it also a lot more accessible right now, or would you say that's just my opinion?
The channels to distribute the music are great for me. I think I appreciate that part. I think the one disadvantage is obviously advertising and getting your voice heard by many people is still difficult. So obviously you still have to pump in money to Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and you still have to, getting airplay on radio is not easy, and you know, it's a lot of rigmarole, and either you must book an interview. So the background work is what is also a challenge. So yes, it's great you can distribute your music to all the online stores, but people still need to know how to access you, and that's where you still need to have funds and visibility and push things. So it's a half and half. It's better because yes, you can become anyone can become famous now, but at the same time, it's still, you need to push and spend money on certain things.
How did it come about that you decided to enter this particular hip hop competition?
So it's not it's an award ceremony. So they have it every year. They started, I think, in 2012. So very similar to your Grammys or the Hip Hop Awards in America. Then you just submit your music and, you know, you say, go for it. So I decided to submit because usually before, I'd always be of the opinion that, you know, I've been in the game for so long and let's just leave it. Let the, you know, the young ones have it all. Let the younger people enter. But I just thought to myself, you know what, it's been a long year, and the EP that I did release this year, I released it not the way I would have wanted to. There was so much behind it, but because of COVID, like all my plans were gone. So literally all I could do was just release it from my house and didn't do much. So I thought to myself, you know what, Ayanda, it was a tough year and you actually had a solid project that you wish you could have pushed harder. Just go for it. So I'm just going for it because right now I've got nothing to lose, because this year we've lost a lot. I think
Yeah, we have.
2020, if you haven't lost your house or your car or your job, you've lost a piece of your soul or a piece of hope that you used to have. So I just thought, go for it. Like this, because I think also with this year, it taught me you can just do it. Like the fear and trying to argue yourself out of a good or a wise decision, because sometimes we lie to ourselves, but just go for it. Just do it. So I decided to just go for it.
So you mentioned the word hope now. This particular song that you've now entered, does that reflect you how hopeful you are indeed?
I think for me, the song that I entered, because it's part of a mix, not a mixtape, but an EP. So it's called Distanced. It's got 5 songs. And the songs that the judges sort of decided to go with was one where I featured 3 other female rappers. I'm also very big on pushing females in everything. If I could have a female band and a female producer, that would be the ideal, because I think we need opportunities. But the song that was released was more of an angry, very hip-hoppy song, very grungy, very me, very like 90s, but still current type thing. So for me, in terms of hope, I think that song sort of made me realize, like, I still got it. And, you know, you don't always have to like fit in with the now to be seen or considered to be sellable. You can still tap into your true self, authentic self, but still make a song that's good enough and can be noticed by radio stations and awards panels as well.
Obviously, the public can vote for you as well as the judges. So when is the deadline? How long do we have to enter or to vote?
We have until the 27th.
Which is very around the corner, hey?
Around the corner, yes. And then the public votes will then close off, and then the judges will deliberate and then decide who gets it.
So how do people go about voting for you?
There is a link. You go to the SAHipHop Awards, and then you go to vote. They've got a tab for vote, and then just scroll down until you get to the best female category, and then you can click on my name and then prove that you are not a robot, and then submit your vote.
So we can vote for you as many times as we want?
No, actually it looks that way, but it's 1 vote per IP address.
Oh,
so for your computer, your cell phone. So even though you'll vote and then tomorrow you'll try and vote again, it will just pull the numbers, but the numbers are not affected because you've already previously voted. So
rather take the neighbor's cell phone and vote from the neighbor's cell phone.
The neighbor's cell phone, your laptop, your other, everything, like any device you've got in the house, that's the best way.
So that is the cutoff date for the voting. When will the winners be announced?
The winners will be announced on the 12th of December. So it's going to air on SABC 1, I think from 8 o'clock. That's when it airs, and then you'll see who the final winners are. Fantastic.
Well, it's been so mind-blowing to talk to you, and you really are such an inspiration. And you sort of, your main focus being a woman's liver in a sense, I do appreciate that. So before I say goodbye to you, I just want to know if you can speak to us as women out there and give a word of encouragement to women. And because you have overcome many, many things, not just in the past year with COVID, but even before that. How can you encourage many other women to just go for their dreams?
I think the one advice probably I would give for women is self-reliance. I think we are the damsels in distress. We always, think things should fall in our laps, and we never want to rely on ourselves. And I think what I'm learning, even myself as I'm growing, is self-reliance is the most important thing, because no one can take what you do for yourself away from you, And a lot of the times when we're unhappy, it's because we're losing things that don't belong to us, or even when you take a job you didn't like and then you lose it and you get so upset because it's like, well, you never even liked it. Why don't you go for the things that you want? And so I think self-reliance is one thing that I'm learning, that you need to study as much as you can. You need to immerse yourself in your passions as much as you can. Communicate and interact with as many people as you can. No one is waiting out there to say, how do I make you feel special? How do I make sure that you're eating tomorrow? And how do I make your dreams come true? Your dreams, the only person that's responsible is yourself. So you need to do it for yourself.
Thank you so much, MsSupa. It's really been encouraging. And may you have a wonderful time. May you succeed, and may your dreams just overflow. And may 2021, which is quite near, may it be a wonderful year for you as well. Hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me as well. And yeah, definitely would love to speak to you guys soon. Hopefully I'll be having like a little thing here that looks like an award.
Absolutely. And I'll be the one cheering you along. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You too. Thank you. Bye.